Thank you. So today I'm going to introduce you a network inference application in Cytoscape called Cyni. But before telling you everything about Cyni, I would like to explain you a little bit why we decided to create Cyni, what are the goals of Cyni. So I'm sure I don't have to convince you that network inference is a very important field right now, especially in the last years with the increase of the amount of data. And there's a special need to infer networks from this data. But we think that the current research in network inference is a little bit like this network, where there are researchers creating now new network inference methods, and then there are users that usually try to use these methods through like reading the papers. Usually the researchers try to create implementation of these methods, but usually these implementations are available through a command line terminal interface that for some people are good enough, but we feel that there are many people that's not good. They don't feel comfortable on that. And then we think that there are many users that from very different areas that would like to use these techniques, these new techniques that are being proposed, but that they don't have access to these techniques. And on the other hand, we have the Cytoscape network of users where there are users from very different fields that now they feel comfortable with the user interface of Cytoscape. They feel comfortable using Cytoscape. And we think that many of these users would like to use those techniques, those network inference techniques that are being created. But so far there is no this interaction, and this is where Cyni comes up. Cyni basically tries to create an interaction with these two networks so we can have a bigger network. So, okay, so let's talk about Cyni. Cyni, the actual definition of Cyni is different depending on the user that targets. So to biologists, Cyni is basically a big collection of tools for network inference. So any tool that you might need, you should find it there. But on the other hand, to bioinformaticians and inference researchers, Cyni is much more than that. Cyni is a framework that supports and simplifies the implementation of these new network inference algorithms. So to provide this framework, basically Cyni is possible thanks to the new Cytoscape 3 modular architecture, that now in the Cytoscape 3 the apps are not longer like independent boxes. Now they can talk each other, and they can export functionality. And actually that's what Cyni is doing. It's exporting, it's one of the first apps that exports functionality. It's actually exporting an API that allows the other app developers to have access to the Cyni infrastructure. So what you can really find in Cyni, first of all, it's already several commonly used network inference techniques that are available just downloading Cyni. And then there's also data imputation and discretization techniques, because we think that these are part of the whole process of a network inference. We have also implemented several known metrics, correlation, Bayesian, information theory metrics, that are also available to the developers to use it and don't have to implement it again. And of course, we have a well-documented API and tutorials and sample code to help as much as possible the researchers to bring their algorithms to Cytoscape. So if you wonder how to get Cyni, probably you know that Cytoscape has a really nice app store where you get a lot of information, especially in the Cyni Toolbox app in the website, in the App Store. The important place is on the bottom, the left. There is these links that allow you to get all the information about Cyni, the user documentation information, tutorials also, the code repository. So all you might need to use Cyni or to create other apps through the Cyni framework, you can get it here. And then how to use Cyni. So once Cyni is installed, you'll see that in the control panel of Cytoscape, you have a new tab called Cyni Toolbox. So if you click to this tab, you'll have you'll see the Cyni user interface. In this user interface at the bottom, there is 3 new tabs that correspond to the 3 types of tools that Cyni is providing. It's the input data tool, discretization, and network inference tools. And then on the top of this user interface, there is the first drop-down button where by clicking it, you have the list of all algorithms available for this type of tool. The next button allows you to select the data, because of course to infer network, to input data, you need a table. So you select one of the tables that are currently loaded in Cytoscape. And when these two elements are selected, you get the user interface to select the parameters for that algorithm and that data table selected. So just you select, you define your parameters, and when you are happy, you click apply, and then you get the infer network. So now I would like to tell you a little bit what we call the first Cyni apps. So in order to prove the validity of this framework, we selected a very popular network inference method, Aragne, designed by Califano's lab in New York. And we took their implementation that was already available, and we ported to Cytoscape through the Cyni Framework. And now, actually, there's already an Aragne app in the App Store available to all of you, so you can use the Aragne method in Cytoscape. And then we had a collaboration with the DREAM Challenge the last year. So the winners of the DREAM 8 Breast Cancer Sub-Challenge, they had the opportunity to bring their algorithms to Cytoscape as a Cytoscape app. And they had 1 month of our time to help them to bring their algorithms. And now there were 2 winners, and there are actually 2 apps that are ready to be submitted to the App Store. And they will be available very soon. And here I would like just to give you the big overview of the Cyni framework, how the different elements interact. You can see also how the new Cyni apps, they also fit in these different groups of elements that are in the Cyni framework. What else? So, and before ending my presentation, I would like to give you a few reasons to convince you to spend time and to use the Cyni framework to bring your algorithm to Cytoscape. And I'm going to use our work in the Aragne app to show you that. So the first reason would be that now by using Cyni and Cytoscape, you'll provide a friendly user interface, and that's very easy to show. So here's what you should do if you are getting the previous implementation of Aragne, the typical command line interface, and now it's the same thing, but with the Aragne app being used in Cytoscape. Second reason would be that now it's possible to get directly the Cytoscape output visualization. So the same thing with Aragne. This is the file that you get when you apply Aragne, the current old version of Aragne implementation, and this is the same thing that you get. The same parameters, everything, but right away you get the visualization in Cytoscape. You might say that this is not great as a visualization, but you have to know that now you are already in Cytoscape, and by just one more click, you can select a layout and you get something better, and you can keep using all the visualization tools that Cytoscape provides. Third reason would be that, of course, now Cytoscape is a large community, so you have access to a larger number of users through the Cytoscape App Store. And again, so here's just a screenshot of the website where you can get all the information about Aragne and download the Aragne Java implementation. And here is the Cytoscape App Store, where if you type inference in the search box, you get right away the Aragne on the other apps related to that. And finally, I think one more reason that maybe you didn't consider is that you can use Cytoscape and the Cyni framework as a benchmarking system, because actually what you can do by just clicking on the list of algorithms is that you can, with one click, you can change from one algorithm to another, and with the same data loaded, the same context, you can get different networks for the different algorithms, and then you can use Cytoscape to compare these networks, so you can use this as a benchmarking system. And just to end my presentation, just the current status is that we have right now a very robust release of Cyni with the first non-beta API, so we are engaged to keep backwards compatibility with that. We already have more than 2,000 downloads. The Aragne app is already available, 2 more apps on the way, a Cyni paper upcoming. And if you were wondering, yes, everything, all the apps in Cytoscape are implemented in Java, so that's currently the language that you need to use, but we are exploring options for R and Python. And before thanking you, just to say that we are providing as much information as possible, but if you use it and have any problems or you find something is missing, just let us know. We'll be happy to help you. And thank you very much.